Hi, welcome to Create Art with Jazz. My name is Jasmine, and my mission here is to create, inspire, and motivate. So let's hop right into another video. Hi, if you're new to my channel, welcome to day 14 of my 100 hand lettering art idea challenge. So get your pencil and sketch pad and follow along with me. If you want, you can also use digital programs as well. For today's tutorial, I will be using the Apple iPad along with the Apple Pencil and the app Procreate. So we'll start by using the color picker to choose a bright pink color for the background. Next, we'll go to our brush selection, and I'm choosing the brush Blotchy. To make this design really pop, I'm choosing the color green so that it can contrast with the color pink. The green with the pink actually neutralize the color, so I'm going to pick a second layer to add my green to so that the green can stand off. And it's showing up very well, so I'm going to color some green in at the bottom and just make sure that you can see the design very clearly. Whenever you're designing, it's fun to use contrasting colors or colors that really stand off from each other. So you can always pick your colors ahead of time, or you can experiment until you get the colors just right. I'm choosing a bright red color now for the wording. And I'm going to choose the brush pen. Now you want to make sure that you move a little quickly for this part and make sure that your line weight is consistent. Keep your shape of your letters open and very rounded. And we want to make sure that we leave enough room so that we can fill the design inside of the lettering. When you're doing this part, you really have to use your imagination and imagine the word completed. I'll pop the word in so that you can see it. Imagine it completed and imagine that you can see the inner parts where the black will be and the shading will be. To fill in the color, we're going to grab the circle and just drag it over into the letters, and that fills in the color for you. So whatever color you have selected, that's the color that the words will be. Take your time and make sure that all the letters are filled in at this point. And I'm just going to choose a darker shade of red for the shadowing. And I'm also going to lower that brush a little bit so that it's a little bit smaller. So I'm going to go around the word and make sure that I'm adding shading into certain areas. So pay close attention at this point. You can change it up a little bit if you want, but you want to keep the lines consistent and you want to keep the shading in a consistent pattern. So just go around. Again, you have to use your imagination. I'll pop the picture back in so that you can see what the final will look like, and you can use that as a guide to help you go along. So keep your lines consistent and just bring them in very quickly. I noticed that when I move quicker, my lines stay more even and straight. And I also am going to go into the center of the letters and add some shading in there. On this channel, you can also find videos on character art and character design. So if you haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button now. I'm going in with some shading in a lighter shade of red, and this will give it a mid shade tone. So we have our darker shade of red for the dark shadow. We have our bright red for the main color, and then we have the lighter shade of red for the lighter shadow. So I'm not going to add too much of that, but I'm going to put it in there a little bit throughout the word. This gives our word more dimension. Even though it's a 2D word, we want it to stand out and look like it's 3D at the end. This part takes a little bit of discipline because you want to make sure that your line weight is even and those strokes are repeated. After you do this a lot, it will be very easy and it will really just be muscle memory. So next I'm choosing the color black, and I'm going to go around consistently and evenly, and also make sure that I'm paying close attention to my line weight. Wherever you see the heavier line weight at, that means that there's more shadow there, the letter is heavier there. So we're just going to bring it in close, and we're going to follow along the top of every letter. If you are using the Apple Pencil for this part, pay close attention to how much pressure that you're putting down onto your letters. At this point, I wouldn't put a lot of pressure down because the pencil is very pressure sensitive. So just go around with a light hand, and also make sure you're only putting the pressure down where you want the lines to be heavier at. So if it's on the bottom, you may want to add a little more pressure to give the illusion that the word is heavier on the bottom. Next, we'll make a conscious effort to make sure that our words are overlapping. So the B will overlap the E will overlap the R, and the next R will overlap the Y. And take your time on this part, go very slowly if you're not used to it yet, and make sure that you put those line weights in where they're supposed to be. So I'm just going to go around and add some extra shading under the Y because the Y is a little bigger, and we want to add character and personality to the word as well. So I'm just experimenting with the shadows. When we're doing these designs, you can also choose different colors, maybe a green or a darker green for the outline will work, and just have fun with it. Make sure you're having fun and being experimental. And we're going to make sure we add a nice white highlight in there. So when we do the highlight, we're going to go in very quickly and do those dagger strokes along the words. The highlights implicate that the light is shining onto the word, and the word is very bright and it's reflecting. So it's reflecting the light from whatever light source. So you just want to go around and make sure that you keep that light source consistent. Keep those highlights consistent, and for the middle words, if you notice, I'm just making those into dots so that they have an appearance that they are really full, they're about to pop, and they pretty much can't take any more expansion inside of them. This is a cool effect to give your 2D letters a nice 3D look. So at the bottom, I'm just going to add in a few more words in the color white. And then I think I'm going to add in a darker green just to make them stand out more against the light green color. When you're doing your wording, you always want to make sure that there's enough contrast and color and light, and make sure that you can see your words very clearly, especially if it's a fun design like this. You want the words to really stand out and be noticeable. So if you have a light color, just keep in mind to add a darker color in the background. If you have a red color, you can contrast it with green. You can contrast blue with yellow or orange. And you can also play around with different color swatches before you begin. If you're new to adding colors to your designs, it's always helpful to use a color wheel or a color chart. If you don't have one, you can just Google it. There's tons of them on the internet. So how the color wheel works, the color that's opposite of the color that you want or that you're looking at will be the contrasting color. You can use that as a theory to keep into your designs, and you can always use the colors next to it or around it to play around with different color variations. The cool thing about designing word art is that it's so versatile. You can use these designs on a skateboard. You can also use them on ice skates, t-shirts, coffee mugs, towels, hats, whatever you want to. If you're an artist or a designer, join my art community to see videos like this every day. We'll do cartooning, lettering, portrait art, digital art, and traditional art. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, give me a big thumbs up, and I'll see you on the next video.